What's up, my brothers from another mother? We got a sponsored request from a young man in college, university, just all post-secondary education that has some questions about continuing his education with the debt that he has and the job offer that he's currently working in. Before we hop into it, channel sponsor is a tactical soap company, pheromone infused handmade soap in the United States. They are the channel sponsor. If you like what I am doing and enjoy watching these videos, grabbing some of this helps support the creation of the content. Check out with coupon code Cooper. You'll get 10% off. There's a link on the top right of your screen and pinned in the description and comment. This is a quick one. So he's been a fan of the channel now for a while, enjoys the content, has been very helpful in his life. Don't worry, he is subscribed. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it. And also appreciate you requesting these sorts of topics to talk about. You seem a really smart guy. I'm sending you an email hoping to get some specific advice. He went to a community college, received a AA degree. For those of you that don't know, that's an associate's degree from Hillsborough. Immediately afterwards, started attending University of South Florida as a computer engineer major. I was able to get a software engineering internship early at the time there. After a year of doing the internship, the company I was doing it for offered him a salaried job making $70,000 a year annually. That's pretty good pay for Florida. And I accepted the offer and have been working as a salaried employee for about 6 months now. At the time, and just kind of for frame, you have 92 in your email address, so I'm assuming that you're 27 years old. I accepted the offer. Okay, around the same time I received the offer, I let my grades slip and I was kicked out of the computer engineering program. I took philosophy class this semester because I found philosophy interesting and to maintain my status in school, but I'm considering switching to mathematics major since I've already taken all the prerequisite upper level math classes for an engineer. I kind of feel like it would be a waste to drop out since I already have about 60 grand worth of student loan debt. I would really appreciate any guidance you can give me. Well, here comes the cold, hard truth bombs from the father that you never had. Welcome to Bomber Command. Big surprise. I'm not a big fan of college or university. I've talked about this before. You know, I've told guys not to let school get in the way of their education. I actually left community college. I think I had one semester left or half a semester left because I got really tired with what was going on in there. I didn't feel like I was learning anything new or anything significant that was going to be useful. I remember sitting in a classroom. It was statistical analysis. It was a large auditorium, and there was some professor lecturing us about how to figure out if you're sitting in a room and there's 300 people, what were the chances of there being a certain percentage of visible minorities, whatever, you know, like all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, who cares? This is a skill that I'm never going to use in my entire life. And I remember the next day, my dad said to me, "Hey, Richard, I'm thinking about starting up an electronics distribution business for switches and fans. I'm going to take a trip down to the States. Do you want to come with me?" And I took it. In that 5 days during that road trip, visiting multiple companies, doing multiple sales pitches. I think I was 20 at the time. And just seeing what the real world was really like. I learned more in that week than I did in the couple years I went to college. Fortunately, at that time, I didn't have $60,000 in student debt. I think it was more affordable around that time. I think I was still working, so I didn't need any student loans with the exception of some books, which actually, if you buy them used, it works out pretty good. So to your point, you're 27 years oldish. Do you leave? Well, it's not so much, you know, should you abandon school? Your question is more, should I carry on in a math course or in philosophy? So back to the don't let school get in the way of your education. If you feel like there is some use out of it and you're able to up your game or this degree by completing it, by merit of completing it, maybe you end up with $80,000 in debt from the 60, but you can get into a job that'll make you $250,000 a year. That's kind of where I would look at it. You know, degrees that tie into STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, are what I would encourage guys to do if you feel like you're a good fit for the school system. Personally, me, myself, and I hated it. Didn't get a lot of value out of it. I felt like I was listening to somebody lecture me on some crap they didn't really know about. And really, I often thought a lot about that old saying, you know, those that can do, those that can't teach. So I spent a lot of time kind of like marinating on that, and I was okay with the idea of abandoning it to kind of get into the real world and getting my feet wet and, you know, cutting my teeth, so to speak. So It's really up to you and what you feel good at. It sounds like you can do quite well at school, and you're in the right sort of program. Again, science, technology, engineering, math. I don't know if philosophy is going to be that useful to you. It's kind of like, to me, it's like a gender studies sort of program that some of these feminists will take. So I don't know there's going to be a whole lot of ROI. But if you've got the basics, like for example, when they were teaching computer programs when I was in school in post secondary, they were covering things like, I think, MS DOS and Lotus 123, and we had the floppy disks. Yeah, that's going to date me. You know, those big ass floppy disks, not even the small compact ones, but the big ass one with the exposed area that you'd have to slide in and be super careful. Sometimes you pull it out, blow on it, do one of these, and slide it back in. None of those programs had any use whatsoever within 2 years of me taking them. I never used the skill again. I never used it for anything whatsoever. It was just basic how to navigate around and create certain programs and run protocol and search for certain things. I can't even remember. But the point being is, once you learn the basic skills, running through a multi-year program, if you're in a 4-year program, by the time you've started versus you've end, if it gets into practical stuff about the usage of certain utilities right now, it's going to be useless. If it's more theory-based, and the sciences behind it, it'll be more useful. So I'm not entirely clear on what it is that you're looking at, but I think, to kind of summarize it, don't let school get in the way of your education. If you find that where you're going right now and you've got sufficient skills that you can, pick up the kind of job that you're looking for, if you're looking to put that dent in the universe, if there's a high paying role you can get into that's well into 6 figures that will give you a good ROI on your time invested in it, then maybe the schooling's not for you. But if you find that there's going to be some practical use out of having that piece of paper on the wall, some people like to have it. They want to have the piece of paper on the wall with the frame mahogany, with the pretty seal on it and all that sort of stuff. It means something to them, and they'll want to proudly display it. I get it. Go for it. It really depends on where you're at. I understand you're at an impasse and you're looking for some feedback. That's how I would sum it up from my perspective and my own experience. At the end of the day, if somebody were to ask me, what would you do if you could do it all over again, Rich, when it came to post-secondary education, I'd probably take that 20 to 30 grand that I spent in gas, parking, tuition, books, and anything that was tied into it, going to school for that period of time, and try to start up a business. I would rather take that money if I could go back in a time machine and try to start up a business. And even if I failed, which I probably would, burn through 20 to 30 grand and learn the valuable lessons that are taught as you experience those things. Because you do not learn that shit sitting in a classroom, listening to somebody lecture you, putting up slides. It is virtually impossible to live the real world experience that you will get in your 20s. And this is the time to do it. In your 20s, in my view, as an entrepreneur, would be the time to do it. You're going to fall hard, you're going to scratch your knee, you're probably going to lose. The chances of you winning are not the greatest. But if you do, doing it in your 20s is pretty significant. There's a lot of guys that have had some good exits, late 20s and 30s, because of some great business strategies and building in their early 20s. So there you have it. There's my feedback. Guys, comment below. Anybody that has a similar experience that's been at this impasse, I'm sure it'll be useful to this requester. I want to thank you for sponsoring the content on my channel. Below, Teespring store is open. This is one of the shirts that are in there. There's a few other ones that are some personal favorites. You'll see me wearing some shirts on. Also, if you want to request a video like this, as this gentleman has, on the top right of the screen, request a video. Stuck on something, you basically sponsor the topic, name, email, PayPal, and then you're going to email me what your request is. The other option, again, on the top right of the screen, is my community for men. I have to update this video because I've added a brand new tier here. This is all self-explanatory for the basic membership. You can sign up and get in if you're a guy that wants to chase excellence and put a dent in the universe. If you are a business owner, currently doing over $200,000 a year in annual revenues, there's this tier, which will give you access to a private forum that meets monthly, along with the earlier perks. And then the top tier is for one-on-one coaching. You want to up your level or your game in life on something you're stuck on, get past something. That's what that's for. Both of these tiers, by the way, you have to apply. You just can't get in. But I will certainly take a look at the application within a few days. Thanks for watching today's video. Have an awesome one. Peace.